Hello, everybody, from the Ladies Lounge, where we have candid, conscious conversations. And tonight we have another brave and courageous lady sitting in the hot seat, coming all the way from Ireland. So I love the Irish accent. So I'm going to see how much I can get Johanna to talk so I can hear her accent. Welcome, Joanna, and hi, Tivi.
Hello, ladies. Thank you for being here, Joanna.
And thank you for asking me and for giving me the opportunity.
Our pleasure.
So shoot with your question. Well, let's start changing some stuff, not only just in your world, but for everybody that's watching and the planet. No pressure.
No pressure. I think what came up yesterday, Vivian and Tiffany, was, am I blocking receiving? And of course, I know the answer.
So what is the answer that you've come to?
It's a big yes for some of the time.
And what about the rest of the time?
I mean, I am getting better at it, but I'm still nowhere near where I'd like to be, to receive in receiving.
That's actually a great place to be. Can I just interrupt very quickly and say that is a great place to be?
Yeah.
So you actually acknowledged something, and this is the part that a lot of people skip over or miss out, or it just isn't even in their reality to acknowledge I am getting better. And the thing with receiving is, so your question was, am I blocking receiving? And I had this conversation with Gary, and he said receiving isn't actually blocked, it's refused. So what you actually did was, you're aware of places that you are refusing receiving, but you're also acknowledging where you are receiving. And it's in that acknowledgement that more space, more possibility, more perceiving, knowing, being, and receiving is available for you. So
yeah, and that's really nice to hear. And what I did yesterday was I listened to some of your interviews, and it's like I had so many light bulb moments. And I think, it's like now I have a sense of hope and possibilities, where I was really at that point where it's never going to happen. But now I don't believe that.
Yay!
How does it get any better than that, Johanna?
How does it get any better than that?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So, pardon?
You go.
Yeah, I'm just saying a lot of images have been coming up in the last day or two, knowing that I was going to be sitting here, but they don't have as much grip on me as they used to have, starving to death, all of these kind of images that were very strong for many years in my meditations and things, and just one incident last year where I didn't allow something in, and I could really see the process yesterday when I was reflecting back on
Wow. So one of the tools that I gave in one of the videos recently was, and it was to do with money. Every time you handled money, it was, well, how does it get any better than this? If a bill came in, how does it get any better than this? And I'm going to suggest the same thing to you, Johanna, too. It's a really simple tool, but it's constantly inviting you to two things. Number one, acknowledge you're already aware of, wow, I just actually said no, or I just energetically stopped something, or I resisted something, or I avoided or defended something. So first of all, you're aware that you're doing it. And then if you insert the question, okay, so how does it get any better than this? Instead of shutting the door on ourselves, you put a wedge in the door so that door is still open. It's still a possibility.
Yes. And I wrote that down yesterday, actually, for myself. But will I go back? Yes, I will.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So I just want to, so something that you touched on, Viv, that I want to actually make a little bit bigger because it's so brilliant, is it's the energy of something that comes before the manifestation of it, right? So you create everything that shows up in your world, in your reality, in your life. And, you know, if you can start to be aware of the energy that comes before what shows up, then you can start to really, you know, create some change with what's showing up in your life as well. And like Viv said, you know, it might not be that you flatly outright refuse something, but there might be this energy of like a barrier, or where you're stopping yourself or not allowing yourself. And they are the places, I guess that's the beauty of what we do with you know, the Access Consciousness tools and with the Ladies Lounge, is we deal with the energetics of things, which comes before what shows up. So if you can start to get really present with yourself and receiving, and those moments where something is offered in some way to you and you stop yourself, if you can start to relax into, you know, because oftentimes when we stop, it's like a contraction or a hardening or a, you know, if you can be present with those moments and just relax into it and start to actually melt those barriers or those refusals.
Yeah, and if it's okay to say, and I don't, you know, I know I can't create from the past, but it's like the things I've been working on, you know, that could create the blocks. Is it okay to name just a few of them?
Of course.
Yeah. You know, bringing less attention to me, you know, if I go out there. Other people's no's will be out of joint. And since a very young child, my ask was always a no. It was like, even before I would finish, no, you can't have that, you know. So I can't have her do that. And then this morning, as I was meditating, the chains, I was still tied, like the chains were still tied, but not so tight as they always were in the past. So I just wanted to, like, you know, I just wanted to be vulnerable and just, I suppose there's the bit like that I've been working on this issue for all my life, and I'm only 63, you know, so just to kind of say that as well, you know, because I think I've had a lot of shame and embarrassment, you know, around finances, not having as much as I'd like to let in, you know. So just like, I know all the other stuff and I, you know, I read all the books and everything, but there's still that little bit, I guess, that I need to melt.
Yeah. And, you know, there's kind of a lot going on in what you just said. But I wonder if we can just do a couple of quick clearings with you to start to grab as much of that as possible. Because the thing is, with working with the energy of things and working with the access tools and the Access Consciousness clearing statement, is that it's designed to grab and pick up as much as the energy of things that are keeping us and stopping us from having something different. So we don't need to necessarily go through these things in a cognitive or linear fashion to be able to create change. So everything that keeps you from changing more of this than you've ever thought was possible, will you first destroy and uncreate all of that, please?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Right and wrong, good and bad, pop and pod, all nine, shorts, boys, povads and beyonds. And I want to say all of them. Sorry, did someone say something?
No, yeah, I was going to say.
Oh, go, Viv. Yeah, go.
Well, and also with greater ease. So exactly what you just said, Tiff, that you can create and be and receive something far greater with total ease. So when I'm going through a big change, I'm reaching for something much greater, I always add the energy of ease. So it doesn't have to be some major, you know, Mack truck or I stuffed discs in my back and ended up on my back for 5 weeks, the last time. So I'm like, okay, now I'm going to start asking for greater ease as well, because that's also receiving. It's
Yes.
expanding your receiving and asking for greater ease. So sorry, Tiff, I just wanted to add that.
No, thank you so much.
Lovely.
That's wonderful. So all of the lifetimes in which you've made all of the thoughts, feelings, emotions, decisions, conclusions, computations that are keeping you stuck with this, where you don't need to be, truth, all of them, will you now revoke, recant, rescind, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and uncreate it all totally?
Yes.
Times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
And there was something right at the beginning of your conversation that was such a beautiful space, because you were actually speaking from the energy of what you know receiving is, because there's somewhere in your world that there's far greater.
Yes.
So anywhere that you've given up on that, you've lost hope, you've allowed other people's negativity to completely suppress and shut that down, will you destroy and uncreate all of that, please?
Yes, gladly.
Times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, povabs and beyonds. And what is receiving for you? And that could be a question that you ask yourself 10 times a day for the next 10 days, or for the rest of your life. What is receiving for me? Because I'm grateful to Shannon O'Hara for this, because she said to me many years ago, look, receiving is like a muscle. Don't be hard on yourself that you're not receiving, the Taj Mahal just yet. It's a muscle. And when you're already aware that you're reaching for something greater, you knew as a little person that you wanted more. And so for people to say, no, you can either make their reality more vital, valuable, and real and true, or you can actually have your reality and claim, own, and acknowledge that. It's like, no, I do know something far greater is possible. I am choosing to expand my capacity with receiving, with ease.
Yes.
So everything that doesn't allow you to claim, own, and acknowledge your true reality with what you know is possible, and with the ease of being and receiving, we destroy and uncreate anything that doesn't allow that to show up for you.
Yes.
Thank you. Times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pop, all nine shorts, boys, povabs and beyonds.
Yeah, that really hit in. Yeah, thank you.
I'm having what she's having.
I'm going to share.
And the other one thing I wanted to add and invite you to was also starting to ask for everything in the universe that is able to and willing to contribute to you and support you in opening up to receiving more of you and more of what it is that you would truly like. So what energy, space, consciousness, choice, magic, miracles, mysteries, and possibilities can you and your body be that will allow you to ask for and receive the support, the facilitation, the contribution that will allow you to be the receiving being that you truly be, with total ease, and everything that doesn't allow that times the godzillion, where you destroy and uncreate it all.
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys, povads and beyonds. And I would re-listen to this and grab the processes and use those.
I certainly will, yeah. And I feel so relaxed, because I remember hearing once, it's not the doing, it's the being, and I really, I'm not even thinking about being live or anything, but which would always be an issue. But I really feel at ease now with all your clearing, so I'm very grateful. Thank you both so much. Yeah.
And I just would like to add one thing from my personal experience with this too, Johanna. I had a very similar story where, whenever I offered anything to anybody, it was always rejected, or they couldn't receive it, or And I always went into the wrongness of me, and I tried harder, or I gave more of myself up, or I did more. It's like I went into the doing more, thinking that what I was doing was not enough, or I was lacking as a person. So therefore, if I do more and overcompensate, surely that will work. And they already weren't receiving whatever part of me they weren't receiving before that. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, people can receive a thimble, and I was drowning them with an ocean and then coming up with a whole other ocean to try and make it better. So then I asked, okay, so where are the people that can receive me?
Very good question.
And then I asked for, where are my playmates? Where are the playmates that can receive me?
Again, brings loads of ease when you ask those questions.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Johanna, for jumping in. Just texting backwards and forwards with you, setting tonight up. I'm just so grateful for your willingness to just go, okay,
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Thank you.
Yes. There's receiving.
Yeah, that was me. And I have to say, a very good friend really helped me to come on, because I could have went off the other way. And her name is Irene. So I'm very grateful to her for her support in seeing me, maybe, So thank you,
Wow.
Irene, as well.
Thank you,
Fantastic.
Irene.
Yes.
And it's these choices, this choice and your willingness to do something like this that you wanted to run away from. This will create a different future for you, and you've created that. You are choosing that. So acknowledge you for that, because you acknowledging you will allow more of it to show up, and you are awesome. And what will it take for you to be able to receive all of you with ease?
Yeah.
And everything that
1,000
doesn't
fold.
allow that, everything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Times are godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, one nine, shorts, boys, pervads and beyonds. Just to sneak a quick one in just before we say thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
Have a
And
great
my gratitude
day.
as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
ladies.
Tiffany. Thanks, everybody, for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
See you next time. Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.